So I think we should be live. So hello. Yeah, guys, just let us know if you can hear us okay, and yeah, hopefully let us know if the volume and stuff like that's all right. But hello, it's been a while. It feels like it's been a while anyway.
It has been a while for me.
Let's have a quick drink. Cheers, love. We're on the soft drinks tonight. I'm just not on the Coca-Cola. So cool. All good. Welcome, everyone. So yeah, like I say, it feels like it's been a while, and that means there's quite a bit to catch up on. So we've got quite a few different topics to go through, but how are you doing? You alright?
Excited, yes.
I'm excited. You always, I've noticed that you, as soon as we do one of these, you go into your posh voice. You go into your receipt pronunciation.
I don't have a posh voice.
You do have a posh voice.
No,
you
I don't.
Definitely do. So yeah, and just before we sort of get started into the main bit, Preston Steele has asked if we give him a shout out. So
Hi,
hello, Preston.
Steele.
Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have you all, and same to all the rest of you guys, to Chris, Mark, Vegemetal, Fedor, Emily, Lars, Reed, Chris. Did I say Chris already? Nazarino,
Maybe two Chris's.
Tony Loxton, and the bearded one. So yeah, hello to all of you, and thank you for joining us tonight. So yeah, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping just to kick things off, because there's a few things I just want to get covered. And the first one I've got to do is that there's been a few, the blossoming of something that got set into motion a while ago, whereby I've kind of put the shout out on Instagram and on this channel if anybody would help me create some new artwork for the channel. Because what you can see here, if you look in the bottom right corner, these kind of icons that I've used, and also like the icon I used on the YouTube channel, this kind of, you can see here next to my name in the chat feed, this picture of me. This was all made by my daughter. This was all made by I think she was 10 at the time when she made it, and it has served us super well for like the last 10 years. But I put the shout out if anybody would sort of come up with some new channel icon-y stuff for me, and one guy called Ethan replied, and I'd like to share with you guys kind of publicly what Ethan came back, because I think this is really cool. So I'll just click this, and hopefully this will bring up these logos. And yeah, so these are the logos that Ethan has provided for us. And you can see it's they're all kind of different variations of the same thing, which we'll use in different places. So the one over on the left is more of like I'd use as an avatar for forums and stuff like that. The kind of the main sort of logo in the middle, and then the one with the actual text part on the right. And
I love the colours.
Yeah, absolutely love these. They are so cool. And I just want to give a massive thank you to Ethan Nichols, who put this together for us. I'm just going to quickly just jump across to his Instagram just to show you some of his other stuff, because I cannot sort of thank this guy enough. It's so cool. So this is Art of Ethan. This is his Instagram, and he does this awesome trippy art, and you can see some stuff that he does here. All these, anything from very doodly stuff to these this kind of like DMT rabbit thing he does a lot of, and animates some. So it's so cool, and I was so honored when Ethan said he was going to help out and provide some channel art. So guys, go check out Ethan's page on Instagram. It's super awesome, and yeah, I am stoked to have just to have this artwork. And I think this kind of opens the door then for, I think I'm going to get some t-shirts made up with these on. And what do you reckon? Would you wear?
I would indeed. I'd like some earrings or something, or a pendant.
That'd be super cool. Yeah, I could get like a sort of 3D objecty thing made of them. So yeah,
really nice.
Very stoked about that. And then I think the other sort of main thing is that we've obviously not been posting for a while, and there's a couple of reasons for that. And one of them is that we were on vacation. So we've been away to Egypt, which is why I'm looking a little less pasty than usual. And so we had a 2-week sort of family vacation in Egypt. But then something happened while I was away, which is that I got a couple of strikes from YouTube. And some of you may have noticed this or be aware of this, but some of my videos got removed from YouTube, and it's not the ones I would have thought it would have been. Out of all the sort of stuff that I talk about on my sort of YouTube and how open I am around these kind of substances, the videos that were taken off YouTube by YouTube were ones relating to Amanita muscaria, which is interesting because, like I say, I don't think that one is particularly controversial, and certainly where we live, it's legal. You can, one of the videos that got took down by YouTube was me unboxing some Amanita muscaria, which had been delivered to me legally with a customs notice on it saying, that this had been declared at customs. And yeah, it's they pulled that video, they gave me a strike and locked me out of my account for a week. So I was on vacation for 2 weeks, came back and then was locked out of the account for a week. So that's why I've only just started posting new content. But yeah, I thought that was a kind of a bit of a weird one. But what that's done is lead up to something new that's come for the sort of channel, in which I'll just switch back over to my browser again. 1 second. In that I've decided, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to I have made a duplicate of the channel. So this is another video hosting website called Odyssey, and basically this one is going to serve as a mirror of the YouTube account. So the YouTube is always going to be my main account, but if there's any videos which are too spicy for YouTube or just as a backup for YouTube, things are going to be posted here on Odyssey. And I know that some people aren't a fan of like big tech things anyway, like YouTube, and some people have asked me to put some of my content on some of the alternative platforms. So this is my stab at that. We'll see how this works out. You can see I've got the new logo in here. So yeah, if any of you looking at an alternative to YouTube, I'd say check this out, this Odyssey. And it's been migrating my content over all weekend, and I think most of it's in there now. But yeah, you can go and check that out. So let's go back to us. There we go.
There we are. Beautiful people.
Yeah, we're doing all right, aren't we? So let me just bring up the chat feed again. Cool. So,
it's a big chat there. What's that?
it is. Oh, this is a what's the word? I forgot what they're called. Super chats. Super chats. That's what they're called. And normally when one of these super chats pops up, I normally forget all about it.
Luckily, you got me to remind you.
I did, yeah. So from Tiff, where was my hello in the beginning? I'm sorry, I just read the names that were there, Tiff. If I'd seen your name, I would have read it out. But we've got to give a big shout out to Tech Your Tiff, and thank you so much for that super chat.
Biggest shout out to you in gold.
Please tell me you will make sure these videos taken down will be placed on Alt Tech so they are still available for people to access. So yeah, Tiff, like I've just mentioned, we have now got everything mirrored onto Odyssey. And the stuff that is missing from YouTube will now be available on Odyssey. I still need to upload those missing videos, but they will be there within the next couple of days. So yeah, anything that's kind of too spicy for YouTube is going to end up purely on Odyssey. And the challenge here is that YouTube don't make it obvious what is too spicy for them. You just have to kind of get told off and find out about it. Which is a pain in the ass because, when they tell you off for it, they lock you out of your channel. And first they lock you out for 1 week, and then they lock you out for 2 weeks, and after 3 times they completely, remove your channel. So what I've done is I've removed all the Amanita muscaria content from my YouTube channel. So that's all gone now, except for the initial conversation I had with Amanita Dreamer, which...
Shame that.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's anything too controversial in that conversation, and it would just break my heart to have to get rid of this one because me and Amanita become like a little bit sort of bezies. So yeah, but it's just weird how they've just targeted that particular mushroom, and I think the reason why is because there is this perception of it being toxic.
How's her YouTube channel done? Though?
She's fucked.
Because all of her content.
Yeah, she's had to like butcher her channel and like remove loads of stuff, and she's.
All of it, isn't it?
It's most of it. It's a big chunk of it she's had to remove. She's really felt the pinch from it. So yeah, I feel really, really bad for her.
She got a mirror that you can direct people to.
Yeah. So they did this Odyssey thing that I was just showing that I picked it up from Amanita. So it's kind of weird that some of the stuff which like things where we talk about, you can talk about like 5-MeO DMT, you can talk about ayahuasca, psilocybin. YouTube seems completely cool with that. So I don't think that this is YouTube cracking down on psychedelics, because they just that clearly doesn't seem to be the case. You know, if they wanted to crack down on psychedelics, then me, your mate Tom, Psych Substance, all these would just be squashed instantly. But they do seem to have some kind of problem with Amanita muscaria. So yeah, what can you do? Just got rid of that content, and yeah, let's see where that goes. So that's all that kind of bit of stuff going on. I did want to talk a little bit around something that's happening on Discord, or something that I plan to have happening on Discord. So some of you will know that we have a separate Discord server where we can have sort of chat, and there's a bit of, a good little community there that's grown up around our Psychonaut community. And you'll have heard me talk for a while that I really want to push this idea of a community. What is a psychedelic community? What does that mean? Is it just people in a forum online, or is there something we can do here to elevate us, to sort of like to boost us all up a little bit? And I talked about this, I think, in a couple of blog posts I did last year, where I was saying, I want to give more to the kind of community. And I had an idea around integration, and I've been a part of a face-to-face integration group, which I started going to in 2019. It's fallen off the rails now because of COVID. But then, in some places this has moved into a virtual space. And so, it's kind of, I was thinking, is there a way that we can have this integration space virtually? So I'm going to try this within the Discord group. And so if any of you are on the Discord, you might see that there's a new voice channel called Integration. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off doing it once every 2 weeks. And both Rachel and I will be hosting this. And we're going to have this integration room. And it's going to be a room where you can just come, and we're all going to be on the same level. This is not like me being a guru or being a therapist or anything like that. This is us just being on the room, being on the same level, and you can just talk about your experiences. If you've had a psychedelic experience or you're processing an experience, just talk.
Everyone helps everyone out.
Yeah, just talking about it as a circle. No one trying to like judge anybody else. Not necessarily trying to tell anybody else how to think about things, but just us being there as a space where we can just talk about these things, and say whether you've had a good time, something that you want to share, whether you had some kind of insight, whether you had a shitty time and it's been playing on your mind, just something where we can sort of talk about this. And like I said, I've had this as a face-to-face thing, and I mean let's talk about that a little bit, because I found it sort of beneficial to have this group. And yeah, what about you? You attended a couple of these kind of meetings with me. What did you think of it?
I did find it useful. I mean, it's like the share circle after ayahuasca ceremonies. You listen to other people's experiences. You can gain some insight from hearing other people's. You don't necessarily have to comment on anyone else's, but just sharing, you all help each other because you all can learn something from each other's shared experiences.
And you process it yourself as talking about things helps you process it. And we found this, that when we've had psychedelic experiences, whether it's something we've done here or when we've been on retreat, I mean, we actually call it group share. Me and Rachel will sit there and we'll talk to each other, and just that talking of it, it processes the ideas, because you're kind of doing it in real time. Yeah. So we're going to take a stab at that, and we'll see how that works out. I don't know how many people are going to join or not join, but I'm going to put some dates on the Discord for anyone who's not on the Discord but wants to join. The details are in the on the banner in my YouTube channel. So yeah, you can sort of join them. Let's see if that helps anybody out, and I mean, it'll certainly help me out. I think
it'll help me out too.
Yeah. So especially in these times, where it's difficult to have face-to-face stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a
couple of super chats there.
Okay, super chat. So let's see. So Tiff says again, she's really struggling. I guess she's talking about Amanita Dreamer. Yeah. She's really struggling, and it may be more than just Amanita. So be wary, your content may not be much safer. Yeah, she has. We've got a few emails going backwards, forwards. Me and Amanita Dreamer, and I know she's got some things, that's some ideas that some other mushrooms are included. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, I've got a few videos around mushrooms, and they've never not been flagged up, not in the same way the Amanita ones had. So yeah, well,
she might be talking about other types, the edible types.
Well, this is the thing though. Amanita Dreamer is so hands-on with this stuff. She's always like, doing videos about foraging and preparation, and I don't really do a lot about preparation. I know it's not often that I actually show something on camera. So I might, even when we did the thing with the how to use a glass pipe, there was nothing in it, and that is one thing about the Amanita videos I put on there. I did show that I was making tea with it, and I did show the mushrooms.
Right,
so I think there's something about showing things, I think. But again, I don't wave psilocybin mushrooms around and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just have to sort of see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, my heart really goes out to Amanita Dreamer. From the bearded one, Johnny, just got back from my second Kambo ceremony. Looking forward to seeing your future mushroom videos. Keep up the good work. Cheers, mate. Yeah, so me and John have been chatting a bit on Instagram about Kambo, and I think this is one we can probably get into a little bit because I mean, Kambo. I mean, I'm a fan of Kambo, even though the actual process itself is fairly gruesome. It's a bit of an ordeal. But we were talking about this the other night because we were talking about this kind of blending of plant medicine, ayahuasca, San Pedro, rape, marijuana, blah blah blah, and then sort of kind of blended in there. I guess it's more of like natural medicine, and then included in there you get things like Kambo and Bufalveris 5-MeO DMT, and I've since I had that previous 5-MeO experience with the synthetic 5-MeO, I've been really assessing like, is it right to be harvesting these toads in this way? And you're just getting these toads and taking their venom and stuff to sort of for us to consume it. I've not got anything concrete to say around it because I'm still processing it, but it doesn't seem super ethical, and I struggle with that because I really like Kambo. Kambo really helps me out in terms of chronic pain, so I'm trying to work out how I feel about that. Sorry about that, Johnny. I didn't mean to unload my ethical burdens onto you, mate. But I hope the Kambo ceremony went well, and I hope you got from it what you wanted to. And mate, I think let's have a bit of a chat about it on Instagram. So where was it up to? Yeah, the integration stuff. So that's that planned, and like I said, I'll put some dates out on the Discord server, and I'll probably make a video about it as well in future, just to let you know where we're up to with that. But I think the first date I was going to put in there would be for that integration group will be Sunday, the 4th of April, which is Easter Sunday, I believe, which might be a little bit sacrilegious, and around about 8 p.m. CET, so about 40 minutes from now-ish. Then let's see how that works out. And also, just to let you know, I've limited the size of that group, so I think the maximum people that can be in there is 20. Which, because I thought otherwise with too many people trying to talk, it gets a bit unwieldy. We'll see how that goes. If I'd be surprised if 20 people join or take part, but let's see how it goes and work it out from there. Sure. What else is on my list of things to talk about? Yeah, the other one, one story which kind of ingressed into our holiday a little bit was the whole situation between Martin Ball and Symposia, which is something that I've got dragged into a little bit, and I just wanted to make a couple of comments around that. I am going to do a bigger full-length video around what I think is where the problem is between this kind of battle going on between Symposia and Martin Ball. But I think the main thing which I just want to put out, I think there's a problem here with critical thinking and this whole cancel culture hysteria thing that's going on, and that's the bit what bothers me. I don't want to come into this thing like I'm pro Martin Ball, like I think Martin Ball's the most awesome guy on the planet, and should be defended at all costs. That's not the case at all. But I do think there's a problem with this kind of cancel culture looking to destroy people and then exaggerating things into some sort of hysteria. So that's something I'd look to sort of explore a little more in this coming video.
Yeah, they were quite heavy with you, weren't they? Like trying to relax on holiday, your phone's going ping, ping, ping.
Yeah.
Let's take it off him.
Yeah, it was probably not my best idea to release that video. On the sort of on the cusp of a holiday.
Fly off to Africa.
Yeah. But well, you live and learn. So just a video coming probably either this week coming or next weekend, which will explore the whole sort of Martin Ball Symposia thing a little bit more. And then another thing which is coming up, which I think is something we can really talk about a lot, is I just received this book. So the author of this book, Charlie Vinegar, who is a therapist who works with MDMA, sent me
my favourite topic.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was
supposed to be hard.
So he sent me this book about ecstasy, and ecstasy, MDMA, is not something that we've really talked about much on this channel because we're kind of focused.
We did TCP video in which we didn't shut up about.
Yeah, we did talk a little bit, but we've never done like explored it to the same depth as I have, say, psilocybin or DMT. So I was looking forward to reading this book because it's a chance to sort of dive back into that thing. But you bloody love it, don't you?
I do.
Is it your favouriteest of all?
It's definitely my favourite of any substance I've ever tried, yeah.
Why, Rachel? Tell us about it.
Because
it feels fucking ace. They don't call it ecstasy for nothing.
Well, there you go. But yeah, no. Well, it does have its recreational points, its uses, but also it's highly spiritual and even alone or with a group of friends. I think even more so than its stereotype of going out to a festival or a rave or something. I think it's really, really useful for bonding and if you ever try it alone, it's for inward spiritual growth. I think it can be very useful. I've
got to say, I've definitely had the bonding element of it. I don't think I've ever had a spiritual experience on MDMA.
I definitely have.
For me, I think the dissolving of of just layers between you, where you can just suddenly start expressing your feelings and your emotions in these beautiful sort of very crystal clear ways. That's amazing. And I think that's the cool thing about Charlie, who sent me this book. The guy who wrote this book is in his 70s, and he got into MDMA in his 50s, and he's got a YouTube channel. He's got videos of him and his wife, and they take MDMA together, and they do it sort of in this kind of perhaps in this spiritual way that you're talking about, better than us who just get fucking absolutely off our tits. I found there's something incredibly touching about being able to recognize, being at that sort of in that chapter of your life, and being able to recognize that there is a level of sort of intimacy which we normally keep quite reserved to ourselves. And I can imagine that as you get older, if you don't explore these things, then those kind of walls inch up a little bit at a time, and until you get to this point where sometimes you see people's parents or grandparents, and you think, these guys just don't look like they love each other anymore. They just don't look like they even like each other particularly.
It's cohabiting.
Yeah, and so I thought the idea of taking something like MDMA just to sort of remind yourself with your life partner, like, oh wow, I see you, and to feel that sort of loving. I was watching sort of Charlie and his wife on some of these videos, and it was really touching. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say about MDMA. But the bonding element, I totally get. Spiritual I mean, I think spiritual in terms of you can have an experience of very pure love, but
yeah, I don't know. I can't even explain it. I would say it goes beyond love and onto like a spiritual. So there's like an essence of like a presence of something.
would you say it's like in the same way that it's like it is with something like say ayahuasca or DMT or
Similar, yeah, it can be.
okay?
And also when we're about the, you know, the sort of breaking down like boundaries between two people, I also think it can do that to an individual as well, you know.
Or breaking down boundaries within yourself, like self.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, so if you're working on self-esteem and self-love and that type of thing, it's really helpful for that.
You say I didn't know you were doing all this work with MDMA. I just thought you were off your tits, love, just rolling around, gurning like.
I'm doing the good work.
You're doing the work. You're all right. Okay, I missed that. Maybe it's because I was also rolling around on the floor, getting absolutely turned. So yeah, I mean, I think the thing that when we talked about this the other day though with MDMA, we went through this kind of phase of it where it was just woven into our sort of teenage early 20s.
We used it very differently back then though.
Yeah,
it was like it was a party drug then, but I mean I only fell in love with it when it shifted from being a party drug to a home drug. Like I always liked it, you know, back in the day when I used to use it in nightclubs and stuff, but when we got older and it started being a small group of people at home, that's when I really got it. That's when I really got, wow, this is what this is all about.
Yeah, because the intimacy sort of ramps up, especially when you've got that close circle of friends, because otherwise, you end up in somebody, you know, back at somebody's house. When you're in that going, you're back at somebody's house and you're like,
yeah, and
I don't even know these
times
people.
I've tried it since at a festival or something, I tend to regret it. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
I just want to go home with my friends.
I mean, the reason I would not do it at a festival is just because of the come down. It's like you don't want to be living in a tent.
Yeah, and that's the only problem with it, with you know, using it, you know, doing the good work. It does have a physical load and a toxicity, I suppose, that you have to take into consideration more so than with other things. You have to, you know, really look after yourself with the supplementation, and then with the dosage, make sure you don't, you know, go too crazy with the dose, and the duration between doses also. We've got to be very careful with it. Well, respect it a lot.
Well, that's why I'm interested to see what Charlie's got to say here, because this is, like I say, somebody in their 70s who's doing it, you know, and yeah, I'm assuming that there's some advice in here as to how to sort of balance that. So yeah, I will let you guys know what I think of this book when I finish it. But yeah, I might sort of learn something which will take that kind of come down edge of it, because I suffer a lot with the come down. It just wipes me out. Anyway, let's have a look through the questions here. I can see there's some stuff's been building up. So, Fedor Kanaya asks, Rob, what is your most recent psychedelic adventure experience? I think that one's pretty easy. My most recent one is that 5-MeO experience that I posted around, I don't know, was it about a month ago? Before
Egypt. I think it was like 2 weeks before we went away, so it's probably about a month ago.
Yeah, so for me, that was it. And I'm planning on revisiting that probably next weekend. Next weekend's like a long weekend, so it's like a 4-day weekend. So I'm probably going to dabble in something there. But for me, that was my last one, and it was it was awesome. And I don't know, that's the you want to talk about, because you've been pondering on going there, which is a bit of a change of
I am coming around to it now, particularly now you're onto the synthetic. I was never down with the bufo. I don't know why. There was just something about it. There was just some energy inside me that said, don't go there.
Was it the Octavio thing, do you think? Or?
Well, it started there, and I don't know why, but you know, I had the opportunity, didn't I? I would like to go straight after you with Octavio, and some gut feeling said, don't do this, not today.
Okay.
And you know, I in the retrospect later on, when I found out that I had a heart condition, I was really glad that I didn't do that, because you know, bufo's got these other alkaloids in it that can be bad for that. So you know, I think like there was some kind of guardian angel looking out for me that day. But since I watched that, who was it you were speaking to? That guy who is very knowledgeable about it, one of the live streams.
Well, that was Martin Ball, I think, wasn't it? Or
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying, about the synthetic doesn't have.
Oh,
the same...
I think you're talking about the guy from the documentary.
Yeah.
That was. Oh my god, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry if I got. Don't know, but the documentary is called Before Alvarez Reloaded.
Yeah, you can Google it while I'm talking about it.
I'll get back. You talk about it, and I'll pretend.
So yeah, because he was talking about how the synthetic version is a lot safer and a lot cleaner like that. So, and obviously I've been fixed now.
Philippe Zaruva. That was
Philippe Zaruva.
Philippe.
Yeah. Yeah. So. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that now, and also I'm in a lot better place spiritually than I was a couple of months ago because I've taken some steps that removed some things from my life that weren't serving me so well, and I'm feeling a lot clearer headed now. And
you seem a lot clearer headed now.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fear, I guess, around it, which I don't think was unjustified considering what I was doing to my body at the time. So I think I'm feeling a lot more like it could be useful for me, and I'm interested.
Okay, so do you think, is there something you think you might join me with next weekend, or are you still pondering on?
Well,
you don't have to commit. It's okay. No one's going to hold you to it. It's fine.
Well, I guess we'll see how I feel on the day when it comes.
I mean, the other one, I'm not. I'm not looking to cram too many sort of experiences into too short a space in time because, I do like to give time between my psychedelic experiences to have this kind of integration. But yeah, I mean, I must say I have been really feeling the call to just regular DMT at the moment. Just one of these, because they are just so much more. I don't know. I feel the call to that vividness, the really. The kind of the crazy sort of psychedelic experience because the 5-MeO is not like that at all. That's very internal. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to dabble back into something. C. Bleakley says you should do a collab with Psych Substance. Yeah, Matt, I may well do. I've got a few collaborations in the pipeline at the moment, and I've actually got some stuff that's already been recorded. Some of the interviews and stuff I've done. So at some point, I will. Yeah, no doubt get her into talking to Psych Substance. It's, people just moving in these circles. I think the next ones who I'm going to be talking to, well, first of all, I'm going to be talking to this guy, the guy who sent me this book. So that's Charlie Vinegar. I'm going to be talking to him at some point soon. Dakota of Earth. Me and Dakota have been looking to schedule something. And I've also got one I've already had the conversation with James Gesso, who's another sort of YouTuber, author, and we had a really good conversation actually before I went on vacation, and I'm just trying to find the time to upload that one because I like to space out these long form conversations a little bit.
Super chat.
No, it's the same one.
Oh.
Okay.
Should have my glasses.
Yeah. C. Bleakley says, does anyone ever see Aztec or Mayan faces on DMT? Yes, absolutely. I mean, if
one of the first things I ever saw.
Yeah. I mean, from our first, I think I said this to one of my first DMT experiences. We had it, and I don't think I'd had a full breakthrough, but I was looking at just at the wall behind. We see where these blinds are. I was looking at them, and just Aztec and Mayan symbology and like the step pyramids. And these kind of things like you see in the bottom right corner here, these icons that I use, it was on all this kind of Aztec, Inca, Olmec sort of imagery. It was just pouring out of the ceiling. It was just streaming down the walls. It was coming across the couch, and I was just stood there going, I mean, as I often do, like, what the fuck? And yeah, it seems to me very obvious now that when you have these kind of cultures, say like, we've just been to Egypt, looking at all these tombs where you have all these hieroglyphics and visual language, and the same when we've been in Peru and like Machu Picchu and stuff. We were in Greece at the Parthenon. You see all this ancient architecture, and when you see this stuff and the amount of effort it takes to make this stuff and the very visual nature of it, then it seems to me obvious that something was inspiring that. Like nobody just wakes up one day and makes the Parthenon. It's insane. The blocks are just huge. Like you don't just wake up and think, oh, I'll build this pyramid. I mean, like the Valley of the Kings. The scale of it is insane. Yeah. So something has to be motivating you, and that thing that motivates you has to be the thing of the highest power. And I think it's kind of obvious that this is the stuff that you see in psychedelics is what's inspiring this, because
we all see it.
Yeah, we all see it. It just comes pouring out the place, doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember my first DMT trip. It wasn't a breakthrough, but it was the waiting room where you're in the tunnel thing, and the whole wall of the tunnel was just these Inca images, and at the time I didn't even know what they looked like. I hadn't really studied it. I hadn't been there yet. And I was like, how do I know all these things? And then when I looked afterwards, I was like, how did I see this? I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it seems like it's very hardwired in there for whatever reason. But yeah. Emily asks, so you think it's best to keep intentions short and sweet or very detailed? Should I recall intentions during the trip if you can? I'm thinking, show me what needs Beijings. I guess that might be a typo. Show me what needs seeing or something like that. So, yeah. Do you want to have a stab at that one?
In my opinion, it's better to keep them short and sweet, or at least succinct, Yeah. Reason, just so that it's not too complicated. If you've got too many details, that's trying to what do you call it? Compartmentalize too much, or have too much control over it. But if you have a simple mantra, I found that was the best thing. The best experience I had on ayahuasca was when I had a very simple mantra, like a one sentence one.
Yeah, same.
That was my intention.
Yeah, I always go with, the kind of the thing with most psychedelics, where they'll say like you don't get what you want, you get what you need. So the way I think of it is steer roughly in the direction you want to go, but don't overthink it, because then you kind of you're not necessarily going to get that. But some of the intentions I've had was help me be the best version of myself, help me to understand myself. Some of the stuff where I've been looking to resolve problems around the death of my mother, help me to understand my mother. So it's something you can fit into one sentence, which you can do as a mantra, so that
and do make it a mantra. Repeat it either in your head, or you whisper it to yourself, repeatedly, and then it will go in that direction.
Yeah. So something that you can sort of lock onto. If you make it very complicated, then you're probably going to get lost in that. Yeah. And if it needs to be complicated, that bit will sort itself out. That's a kind of the power of these experiences. You have something where you're going down a certain avenue, and every possible outcome of that just sort of unfolds anyway. So you don't need to be so specific, because you're just getting shotgunned in the face with it anyway.
If you want to write like a detailed intention, you can do that, but when you come to the actual ceremony, keep your mantra simple and short.
Yeah. So there's a few comments around Siloahuasca, and people asking if it's something that we would do and sort of what it. Siloahuasca. You never heard of that?
No.
All right. So this is basically using an MAOI,
with mushrooms.
With mushrooms, yeah. Oh, and it potentiates it in the same kind of way, with basically you end up with a more intense, longer sort of trip.
I don't need that. Mushrooms are already like ayahuasca.
Yeah. You just show her a mushroom and she's fucking wrecked. So, no, the answer to the question is I personally have never done Siloahuasca. In fact, one of the main reasons that I do mushrooms over, say, something like LSD, is that I quite like the short duration. It fits in with our sort of lifestyle, where we don't want to be sort of, we're getting old, we want to be up all hours. So, I've never tried it. I'm not It's not something I've avoided. It's just not something I've gotten round to yet. But I suppose it's something I would consider.
It could be something useful to you if it makes it stronger, because you do have, you're less predictable than I am, aren't you? With your sometimes you don't get quite the punch you need. So
yeah, but I mean, you'd need to do the MAOI before and stuff like that. I mean, again,
can you imagine if you did get the punch?
I know. Well, that's it. Yeah, then it'd be a fucking nightmare. So yeah, I mean, maybe at some point I would do Siloahuasca. I know there's a few retreats that do it now, particularly in the Netherlands, because ayahuasca was made illegal in the Netherlands, so then they shifted to Siloahuasca.
Is that because of
because of inner mastery? Basically, inner mastery. Do you know inner mastery have changed name now? They're now called Inner Evolution.
Yeah, they pop up
They're
on Instagram and everything.
fucking turds.
I don't even know how.
Because they pay for it. They pay for that sweet advertising dollar like fucking London Real does. It's like you can pretty much tell all the turds because they all will pop up on your advertiser feed.
Whether or not you even follow groups. Or...
Yeah. So Dara asks or says she's going to Arcana next month. Any tips or things I should know? Well, it would depend, Dara. It would depend which one you're going to, because there's two.
Aren't there three now? Is there one in Mexico?
The third one isn't a fixed centre. They just go there. It's like Arcana on tour. I think
last time we went, they were talking about opening one in Portugal, but then that was just before COVID, wasn't it? So that probably didn't happen. So yeah, there's the two centres for Arcana. There's the Jungle one and the Sacred Valley one, and we've been to both. Yes.
And so yeah, if you're going to give any advice,
I would rate both of them very highly.
Which one would you rate most? Dara says she's going to the Jungle, so let's talk about that one. Let's not talk about the other one. well, actually, as it happens, I think me and you would both say that the Jungle's our favourite.
My favourite. And I don't know if it... I mean, some of the staff were the same anyway. Cecilia's lovely. She's not there anymore, sadly. But, they were both great. They both had great shamans. Some of the staff were awesome. Mm-hmm. So in terms of, their company, they were both good. But the Jungle was my favourite experience. If you could, sort of put it into a nutshell, what was it that made it... That you why did you like it so much? I found it deeper, more soulful, and I don't want to sound twatty, but authentic. The environment just fits the medicine so well. Yeah, it really does. I would say being hot, sweaty, bitten, fireflies, hearing the jungle sounds. It just matches. Yeah, and I think that's the reason I like. I mean, it's just so soulful. There's just something there about. Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's loud. There's a sound of the jungle and the river, but it seems quiet. It's because you've not got all this kind of city noise going on around you. So the sound is the sense of space is amazing, and you very quickly just have to get over yourself because you are going to be uncomfortably hot, uncomfortably sweaty, uncomfortably bitten. You're going to be so far out your comfort zone. Probably not going to be. I couldn't speak Spanish or anything like that. You're going to be, on this diet. You'll have flown God knows how many hours to get there. So you just, you do have this kind of moment of holy shit, what the fuck am I doing here? This is insane. But then if you push past that and just sort of surrender to it, then it's amazing. Returning to Kambo, they do offer that there, and I would recommend that you do take that offer, because I found that really tremendous for getting me prepared for the ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. It completely got rid of my jet lag in one day. We had both had the flu the week before, hadn't we? Mm-hmm. And we were still having the residual effects from that, and it sort of cleared a lot of that up for me as well. So I felt a lot prepared for the ceremonies. Yeah. So any tips then for Dara? What should we recommend? Just I would say, yeah. That are not on the list. You mean I don't know. Just our tips. Our tips. I would say, prepare yourself to be bitten by things. Don't bother with bug spray.
Yeah, don't bother with bug
work.
spray. It doesn't work. 'Cause these things will just chew through you.
They bite through your clothes, everything. Like, just walk into it. Just you're gonna be bitten.
Just make sure you pack some. Some comfortable clothes to ceremony, or buy stuff there. Make sure you leave some room in your case for
stuff there.
There's a Shipibo market there in Iquitos where you can buy all this just amazing sort of Shipibo warm stuff.
Ceremony wear.
Piss cheap. It's really cool.
Just go with a clear intention and just enjoy it. You'll have an amazing time.
And jump in the Amazon. Go swimming.
Oh,
just
yeah,
jump in.
swim in the Amazon. You've got to do that.
And get the fish piranhas and stroke the monkeys. And yeah. So let's have a look. So Michael asks, are the toads harmed? So I think this is in regard to our conversation earlier about the sort of how these Buford various toads are harvested to get the 5-MeO out of them, and similarly with Kambo. And again,
imagine if they may not be harmed, but they're probably some stressed.
Well, I think the problem. I'll speak more about Buford rather than Kambo because, like I say, I personally know a Kambo shaman who Dara will probably be the shaman who you deal with at Arcana. Is a guy called Johnny. He's awesome.
And he loves his frogs.
Yeah, he's really passionate about his frogs. He really sort of like takes care of them. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to lump Kambo and Sapo Buford into the same thing. I think the problem with Buford is that it is being over harvested, and you catch one of these frogs, you squeeze the venom out of it, and then the frog. First of all, that's supposed to be kind of a bit of a traumatic experience for the toad itself. And then you've squeezed all its venom out, and then you kind of let it go. Now that toad is now defenseless. All its venom is gone. So the toad itself is defenseless, and there's nothing stopping somebody else picking it up and trying to squeeze more out of it, where there won't be any. And because there's such a business around farming this, then people are just milking these toads for all they've got and don't really give too much of a shit about them. I don't want to get too sort of like environmentalist, like I'm beating the blanket, but it's having seen this in action.
Vegan.
I don't want to go. I don't want to. It's something I'm thinking about. I'll put it that way. And maybe I'll come around to it, but it's on my mind at the moment. Sam from North Lancashire says, have you come across Camula Pashaka paste resin from the Virola plant across your South American travels? Honestly, mate, no, I've never heard of that one. Have you heard of it?
No, it could have been one of the many things that were offered in the markets.
Yeah, there's so many plants. We hear about all the the big name plants, your ayahuascas and your sort of rapes, and
but you go to the markets and you get offered this and that, and they'll say this is for this. This is what did you get? A love potion, impotency.
Yeah.
Should have grabbed them all.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
So lots of love today.
There is, yeah.
We love you back.
So there's been a lot of people actually talking around the Vandy vape, which is the mod box thing that we have here, and I don't want to claim too much like sort of credit here, and obviously Minty's probably got a hand in this as well. But apparently these are now out of stock everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know where everyone's been rushing to buy them. So I've got it here set up with this is our dry herb attachment on the top at the moment. But yeah, a lot of these parts, all the parts that I recommended, are now very hard to get hold of.
Now. So
yeah, maybe I was thinking, should I get in touch with the manufacturer and sort of like create a sort of, a branded sort of, this is the DMT smokers combination. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But apparently, if you check out a video from Minty Love, then Minty, who's the guy who sort of turned us on to all these e-vaping things, he's looked at a few alternatives, so that if you were looking to get like one of these Vandy Vape mod boxes and you're having troubles, then look at some of the alternatives that Minty's identified. So and a few people talking about the kind of the Aztec-y imagery stuff, and seeing Anubis within.
Oh,
yeah, so one of the things that we picked up while we were in
Shall I go
Egypt.
get him?
Yeah, go and get it. So yeah, one of the souvenirs that we picked up while we were in Egypt was a little alabaster statue of Anubis, and yeah, I mean, Graham Hancock's written a really good book about this called Supernatural, where he talks a lot about what's called theranthropes, which is where you have human bodies with some sort of animalistic head. So all the Egyptian gods are a really good example of this. And there's Anubis, alabaster doggo. So yeah, that came back with us from Egypt. And we wish we'd bought more now, but it's cool. And but yeah, this kind of theranthrope thing, it does seem to me like a very psychedelic concept of this. This merging of sort of man and beast kind of thing. And obviously Horus, the hawk-headed god. There's another one in Egypt. I can't remember. Was the one like there's a head of the goat? When you're seeing like kind of, I think it's Sumerian culture, you see a lot like, body of a man, head of a goat. And then all the sort of the pagan stuff where you had like thorns, which was like, body of a man and the legs of a goat and stuff like that. So all these kind of blendings of stuff. Yeah, it just seems to be there.
Mermaids.
Mermaids, bit fishy, yeah. Don't I say something?
No, I was joking.
No, okay. So Chris comments, I think he's come back to the intention thing. The more complicated your thoughts, the more potential for things getting negative. People often make the mistakes of trying to force a direction of experience instead of just experiencing it. And I would say,
well said.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. That is spot on. And in fact, I've done this to myself a few times where I've entrenched myself so much into what I think I should be experiencing that I forget to have the experience that I'm having. And it can get very confusing. I think this is how you can get stuck into sort of thought loops. You'll end up thinking like, oh, not just think about this. And the experience will be kind of gnawing away at you in the background, like trying for something else to unfold. But I'll just be so like, no, it needs to be this, and this is, I think, comes into this term of surrender.
Yeah. The thing about before about the control thing, in the previous question, if you have too many details, you're trying to apply too much control, and that is where you can get knocked down by.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, you've really just got to get over yourself. I think that's the main thing. And just one thing I find useful to use, particularly with DMT, is eye masks, or just being something where you can visually block stuff out. Because what I've found myself doing a lot with DMT is that as weird shit starts happening and it starts superimposing on the room, I'm just looking around the room, looking at stuff, and I'm not quite just going with the experience. Yeah. And I'll be find myself like looking at pictures on the wall, like, oh look, it's going weird. Oh, it's going weirder. Oh, it's going weirder. Oh, it's going weirder. And then it's like,
close your eyes. You'll go in.
Yeah, no, I just like I've wasted the experience watching this, watching the carpet or something like that. So eye masks are good. Those mindfold masks are really good for it. Or obviously just dark rooms and stuff like that. From Matt, he asks, have you ever fasted for 24 hours or more before doing DMT? Yes. Yes, we have. I mean, I think probably even longer than that when we were...
for ayahuasca, you mean?
Yeah, for ayahuasca we've done it, yeah.
Not for me. I found that it drained all the energy I had, and I didn't even have the energy to trip, really. It was my first ever ayahuasca experience, and I wanted to be so perfect. We did like a week of, no fat, no salt, no nothing.
We went hard the first...
It was hardcore diet, wasn't it? And then we topped it off with like a 24-hour just water fast. And my body was just in terrible condition for it, and I didn't have a great time. And that night we ate the food that was provided for us there, some like hearty vegan food, and I had a really good experience after that. So I think it's important to be... I know a lot of people disagree here and say, fasting is good, but like I said, I guess I've got some bias against that for my personal reasons. But yeah, but I think that is what you just mentioned is important, because there is, I can kind of get on board that there is a
a spiritual or a sort of a physical commitment to doing this thing in fasting. But you are, particularly with something like ayahuasca, you are balancing it against the physical demands of the thing itself.
Because you spend a lot of energy writhing around,
throwing up,
blah, blah, blah. You need your energy, and you're not going to have much energy if a 24-hour fast, but it is important to fast.
Yeah, but I think 24 hours is probably excessive.
Yeah, I think 6 hours is plenty.
Yeah.
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, when we've done sort of, I'd say, I mean, if just to go back to his literal question, he was talking about DMT. So for DMT, we wouldn't fast at all with the end. I mean, you're vaping it. I don't think there's any real, biological,
I think they may be referring to the possibility that you might vomit, which doesn't happen on NN, but it can happen on MEO. So, if I do try the MEO, I will be fasting before that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
but it's only enough time to, empty the contents of your stomach, which is, if you're vegan, it's only 2 hours. If you eat meat, it's like 6 hours tops.
Yeah.
You don't need to do 24. But, if you do, and if you can, and you do, and you feel great, then, go for it. But
yeah. What did I get to? I think just jumped. Where is it gone? So someone was saying, have you ever spoken or heard the mushroom, or as Terence, as in McKenna, puts it, talking to the elves, and what did it say to you? I mean, for me, I would say yeah, and I've got a video called something like, I think it's called 7.5 grams. This was fucking amazing, or something like that. So go and check that. And you can absolutely have complete DMT-esque reality replacements on mushrooms. Do not underestimate mushrooms. They are.
Yes.
I mean, with any of these tryptamine things, do enough of them, you'll get there. You'll absolutely get there. It's just that DMT gets you there in this very short, crazy way. But I have had entire reality replacement veils, fabric of the universe pulled away, and it knocked me on my ass, and luckily it was a fucking pretty amazing experience. But
same.
I mean, I think,
and I have spoken to the mushroom.
Yeah.
They do speak.
I get the feeling of another with mushrooms, but I don't get the same. The entities thing of DMT, I think, is very different. I think.
Yeah, I think the DMT entities seem to be separate individuals, whereas with mushrooms, like an individual mushroom talking will be like the mushroom Borg or something. Like
it is, yeah.
It's like they're all, one individual talking, but it's all of them speaking to you.
Yeah, and it's a collective.
A collective, yes.
Whereas I think the thing with DMT entities, they are individuals, but they are one. It's weird. It's very hard to describe it. But there is a feeling of personalities there, isn't there? But then there is this kind of thing where it kind of scales, where the place that you are in is an entity, and the furniture is entities, and the entities are entities, and they are singing into existence more entities. But they're all individuals, but they're all one. Whereas with the mushrooms, it is very Borg-like. It's very like. It's we are the mushroom resistance. It's we've definitely heard it speak. I'll put it that way. Miguel Gonzalez asks, how do I convince my conservative uncle that mushrooms could cure his alcoholism? Probably the tough answer I would say here, Miguel, is that you don't. Yeah, you don't. I think.
You can't convince someone that they're ready to be cured unless they're ready themselves.
And it's kind of,
unfortunately.
It's such a cliche. You cannot. People have got to find these things themselves. I know that sounds stupid and cliche, but it is kind of true.
I'm sad.
You see this in the amount of people who go to rehab and then just escape from rehab. They didn't want to be there, but when you get to a point where when you want help, where you want that thing, where you really want it, and people can say they want it, but then there's a bit where they really want, where you're ready to sort of sacrifice your old life for the dream, the potential of a new life. And all the evangelizing that you can do, Miguel, is probably not going to work.
Unless he's ready.
Yeah, and it might actually be counterproductive. So and that's awful because I realize you feel like when you got somebody who's
desperately
alcoholic or you know,
been there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, you know, you're watching somebody commit suicide in slow motion, and that's awful. But it's. I think your uncle's got to find it himself.
Yeah, the best thing you can do for him perhaps is to, you know, show him the way by leading your best life, and that's also a cliche, but it's, you know, it's a more of a cheerful one than you can't force it on someone.
You can't, and that's tough. Yeah,
just, you know, lead by example, you know, and hopefully he'll find his way through you. But it's pointless trying to convince someone who isn't ready. Yeah,
and I think, you know, Minty sort of commented here saying that, yeah, it's also the kind of bottom line is they might not cure him. I mean, there's nothing intrinsic to. Well, this is my personal belief in it. There is nothing intrinsic to any of these substances which makes it a magic bullet to cure you. You've got to want to do it. Even I see people talking about Iboga and Ibogaine and stuff like that. You have to be ready to go through that thing and do it, because people, you know.
And not only do you have to be ready to go through it, you have to be ready to integrate afterwards. And that's where a lot of people, myself included, just cannot be asked. And, you know, I've drunk ayahuasca for, you know, had very, very good intentions, been very serious about what I wanted to sort out, and then just not bothered to put the effort in, and it's just bit me in the ass months later. And, you know, you need to really be committed to do a lot of work after your actual ceremony.
And it can super bite you in the ass, because then, you know, you can have one of those experiences, think, I've seen the light, I'm cured, and then it just you realize, you know, you've not actually put anything into it, and it's that's it. So yeah, Miguel, I'm sorry, I think I think just be there for your uncle. That's the best thing, right? From Bushcraft Adventure, I'm struggling to integrate the lessons learned on mushroom experiences. Do you have any ideas on how best to integrate these? Yes, mate, you should join our new integration group, which will be starting on Sunday, the 4th of April. And I'll be posting some details about that later. But
we'll all share integration experiences, and hopefully you can get something from that. I'll be providing the feminine energy.
I shall be providing the masculine. And
hopefully we'll have some others as well to bounce up.
But yeah, the simple answer, mate, is you talk about it. You talk about it and you process it. Yeah, process it. And we'll help you sort of do that if you want to join that group. From Thomas Lodger. A friend of mine is planning on eating 7.5 grams of mushrooms in a cabin near his home. He also plans on getting the mindfold. He rented a cabin. Any advice? Only the same kind of things that we talked about so far, Thomas. Just have an intention. Obviously, you know, just make sure that it sounds like he sounds like he's taking steps to make himself comfortable in a place where he feels like he's going to do the work. 7.5 grams can be a pretty huge dose depending on how strong they are, but I would just say if you've got the option, have a sitter, have a sober sitter. But I mean,
or depending on how experienced he is, like someone on standby who can come if needed.
Not
too far away.
I just I mean, if that's, you know, it sounds pretty idyllic, to be honest. Going doing a kind of that sounds like something I would.
Good setting.
So it looks like a lot of time. Miguel again asks, what is your favourite episode of Hamilton Morris Pharmacopoeia? Yeah, so I've not actually seen a huge amount of Hamilton Morris because it's difficult to get.
We did watch a bunch of them, didn't we?
We watched a few of the ones that are on YouTube and stuff like that. So I think I'll put it this way. I think Hamilton Morris has gotten better as he's gotten older. We watched the first season of Pharmacopoeia, and I found him just to be an insufferable bell end.
Really?
Well, that the one where he's doing Latins in the Amazon, he's doing Kambo. He was just, and then he's just necking Ritalin, and he's necking also.
I forgot about that.
He was just so fucking annoying, and he's really grown into it. And so
I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast recently, and I really enjoyed that. So you should listen to that if you haven't done so already.
I'd say my favourite episode of him that I've seen, I think was the one about voodoo, the zombie drug.
Oh yeah,
that was funny because this is one thing I do like about Hamilton Morris. I think it's to do with his weird demeanour. He's kind of slightly detached from humanity, and for that reason, he doesn't seem to necessarily seem to feel fear in the same way. He's certainly not afraid of drugs, and he didn't seem afraid of. There was this like sort of witch doctor, wasn't it? Who was like threatening to curse him and put, and he just seemed like
that was my favourite. I think I really liked that.
And he didn't seem like he was just Hamilton Morris was very not give a fuck. So yeah, I'd say that was probably my favourite. See my playlist says don't buy mod boxes unless you want your face or private parts blown off. I think that's probably a touch of an exaggeration, mate. I mean, it's only a battery. That's literally all it is. It's as explosive as any other battery.
I think that comes from people using the wrong chargers or putting turning. I mean, this is why I don't use mods. I use my little compact things that are already done.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not clued up on which bits match which, and they've got different settings, haven't they? If you don't have them all correct, then you can it's just like with any battery. You can pull the battery out of these things. It's just a rechargeable battery, so there's nothing inherently explosive. Don't vape while it's charging. That's a good
one. Matt Gabriel asks, has anyone ever organised a simultaneous DMT vape? That would be an awesome thing for by a live chat. So this is something I've pondered a few times.
Like one with two pipes and two people can do it?
I guess it just means like as a kind of ceremony thing, where you're passing it around, and we've kind of done that to a point, but I think it's tricky to do simultaneously because of the amount of effort it requires. You could probably do it with these e-vapes.
But then it's a reloading, isn't it, with them? It's fiddly.
I think if you had a few of them.
If you had one each.
If everybody brought their own or something. But we've certainly been in ones where it's happened sequentially. When we're been on retreat, there's been 5 MEO ones where it happens one after the other, and me, you and our friends have sort of done it where we've sort of just gone one after another.
Yeah.
And I think there's something there that you're hinting at, which is doing a live chat, because I've pondered on, should I do DMT or some other psychedelic live on camera? And my sort of feels from this, from when we tried to record stuff, is that I don't think it makes for a very entertaining viewing.
Because most of it, like the main peak, the person is just
just out of it. You're
speaking. Well, not even that.
That's me.
No sound. Just it looks like someone's sleeping.
Yeah, or like
when someone's having a breakthrough.
Yeah.
It's only afterwards that they start talking and coming round. So.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of, particularly when you're going for these breakthrough-y, complete reality replacement things, to watch, there's not much going on. So I think once you get past the novelty of it, but I do think it would be worth doing something like a live chat as you come around from it, because then you've got a lot to say, and you're in that kind of halfway place where you're coming out of it. So there's something around that where we could. I've pondered on it, but obviously I don't want to do anything on the stream where I'm doing sort of live stuff, anything too incriminating. So yeah, I'll have a ponder on that one. From Andy Beetham, do you prepare or even have musical playlists while you use DMT? Yes, mate, we do. We have a couple of different ones. In fact, if you go on Spotify, there is an Adeptus Psychonautica playlist where I put some of my favourite tunes on. But what we recommend, depending on what kind of vibe you're in, psytrance music or traditional Icaros from South America.
Icaros will make it more intense.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want it to be more mellow, then you need to go for the more ambient sort of stuff.
But that music that I had when I did the 5MEO, that was really good. That was
ambient stuff.
Yeah, that was a Maok, I think you pronounce it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say
I would definitely always recommend Icaros.
Yeah, Icaros are really good for it.
DMT, for NDMT.
Yeah. Let's have a look. From Darren Hook, have you ever had the experience of what feels like possible entities controlling your motor functions for short periods of time? Hands, arms, etc. As I had this on my first time doing DMT. Yes. I mean, you had your famous unnecessary noises thing.
Yeah, that was.
But and one thing I noticed, it really stuck out to me when I did the 5-MeO, was I did start doing a lot of symmetrical movements. I was doing a lot of this, whereas when I do normal DMT, I'm a lot more flaily and just sort of blah, blah. And that's been kind of recorded as a key feature of 5-MeO, that you start having these synchronous movements. And Martin Ball talked around this, and Andre talked about this in the video that I posted, I think, last week. So yeah, and it is literally the way that Andre describes it, is that there is this, it's a syncing up of your sort of, conscious fields kind of thing. So things start moving very fluidly, and I was surprised to see myself doing that after I've been such like a chaos flailer. But yeah, I would say that I wasn't consciously in control of these kind of movements. So I don't think I would have necessarily done it myself, but it's an interesting phenomenon that happens. Okay, and I think that's all the questions. And yeah, we've gone a little bit over time, but how shall we sign this one off, Rachel? What should we do?
Cup of tea.
A cup of tea.
Don't know.
Okay, love. Right. Well, what I'll do is I'll say, guys, if you're interested in this integration thing, check out the Discord. I will post some more details there.
Yeah, and we'll be on the integration next Sunday.
Yeah, so integration group at Sunday the 4th. It'll be around about 8 o'clock. But I say the details will be in the Discord. Yeah, I'll just say, again, I've just got to give a big shout out to Ethan, a big shout out to all you guys for joining with all your awesome questions. We love talking about this stuff. And if there's any other questions in the meantime, you can just message us, just put something in the comments, or you can ask us a question in the Discord, or you can go on Reddit, or I'm on Instagram, and so are you, and stuff like that. We do all the usual stuff with, normal people. Just normal stuff, innit?
We're normal people.
Yeah, just normal people getting fucking wrecked. Oh yeah, and just one last thing I wanted to sort of add. People would have been asking around retreats and ayahuasca and stuff like that. And yeah, the situation is still the same. It's a bit chaos. I am still looking to do a retreat sometime this year. Don't know when that's going to be.
Peru's still closed. Peru's
fucked at the moment. I know, like some people are saying that they're going. I hope it goes well for you guys. I know it's, I know that you can sort of go there and do your quarantine while at retreat centres and stuff. So yeah, I hope it works out good for you. But yeah, for me,
best wishes to you guys.
Yeah, and yeah, I think for me, I think as soon as I've made some kind of plans, we'll let you know. But we're planning on doing a San Pedro retreat, aren't we?
Yes.
In August, so we'll let you know something about that. But until next time, we wish you, what's that?
Bid you adieu.
Yeah, what's that? Mucho. From that?
Mucho gusto.
No, not mucho gusto. Never mind. Right, we'll leave it there, guys.